things to say, Alice in Borderland Season 2 recap. Season 1, I don't know if Netflix had it and featured it when it came out, because I didn't realize it was a thing until Season 2. I mean, you weren't aware of it in Season 1, were you?
Oh, no. Certainly not. No, I saw them advertising for Season 2. And
so thankfully it did well enough where we got a Season 2 made, and now it was definitely like floating around in the top 1 or 2 or 3 position when it came out. So good for them. Okay, so beginning of Season 2, when they start going up against all the kings and queens and shit.
Yeah.
And the big first game they play with Naked Guy and his team of people.
Naked Guy, he creeped me out at first, but then his character really grew on me. I felt so bad when he died.
Yeah. The whole team, they were just like a bunch of bros. They were just hanging out. Okay, here's what I wonder, though. It got to a point in the game very quickly the home team was like, oh, shit, these people got a whole ton of points, man. I guess we need to, throw caution to the wind and kill one of our members in order to get up. And that was their first real attempt to make any kind of actual strategic move. And I'm like, shouldn't they have played this game multiple times, have some strategy, have some skills? Why didn't they, jump out the gate with those strategy and skills? All they did was stand around, around trying to get, cool scenes where they could just, show up behind somebody and be like, hey, man, what do you think about life and shit like that? So they got to a point where they had to lose a band member, and it could have been any one of them. It was completely random.
Right.
Why did they let it get to that point before doing anything? I don't get that. It was weird.
I got the feeling that they're overconfident. I think they were trying to express that these are, people just like the quote-unquote good guys are. They're just people kind of caught in the system. They're like, yeah, we've beaten everybody else before and we're the best, so screw it. And they didn't expect to suddenly be down on points like that. It did never happen.
But I mean, they weren't down on points because of any extraordinary measures or any giant Mary Sue plans or anything. Airy Sue plans. They just ran around and found a couple of little things. And they did a couple of little wrist grab battles and I guess you beat me. Wow, bummer. And then they walk off. It was very highly discordant watching that happen, and I was waiting for them to unveil the big, aha, this is how we beat everybody. This is why we're taking it so slacker-like in the beginning. But no, they were just whatever.
Another thing I found hilarious was the constant Austin powering of the Naked Guy.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
There was always just something conveniently right in front of his junk.
Yeah.
It was weird at first with him running around, but by the time they'd finally beaten him and he was going off to die, I felt so bad. I kind of wanted him to join the main crew.
Yeah, they did a good job of humanizing those people instead of them being faceless, evil, like the King of Spades. Yeah, they did a good job of that. And it also, I think, mirrored what would happen in real life, too, because, when Ari, Sue, and the gang meet Naked Dude, they're just like, oh, what the fuck? And then, by the end of the whole thing, 2 episodes in, they don't even notice, and the audience doesn't even really notice. So, yeah.
It's just that guy. He's doing his thing, whatever.
Oh.
I just thought it was so weird. It kind of punctuated how weird things had got. But on the other hand, the other group, they put so much time into actually making them characters that it felt like, not to once again compare to another movie, but it felt like in Shaun of the Dead when they meet that other group that's kind of their mirrors.
That was kind of funny. When they're doing the game of tag in Season 1, Episode 2, and Horsehead's chasing them around with the MAC-10, that's when they introduce, I think it's Chiyoyashi, blonde-haired. You find out he was a doctor in the real world. That guy who's the most strategical, penetrate your mind, knows exactly what everybody's thinking at the table.
Oh yeah, he just lurks in the back and smirks at you until he figures you out.
That whole episode when they were in the prison, that was, I think, probably my favorite episode.
That was certainly his best episode.
Yeah, and they gave him 2 whole episodes. I mean, how many episodes were in Season 2? 8? 9? And they gave him 2 episodes, and both of them were awesome. The prison one was awesome. I was wrong about who what was it, the rat or the king or the queen?
Yeah.
I was wrong about who it was. I thought the retard that he was talking to was, and was going to be like, haha, it was me all along. And of course, Tsuyoshi knew exactly it was him the whole time, which is why he buddied up to him. But it didn't turn out to be that way. They did a little bit of other stuff.
He was pulling a classic Survivor. You only need one solid ally.
That is true. That's a Russell Hantz Boston Rob maneuver.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But those 2 episodes were my faves. And when he was at the acid table where people kept getting...
Yeah.
I mean, they made that horrifying.
Acid table, Jesus Christ. And the king, he picked this.
I know.
He picked it. Yeah, this is your design. There's a possibility you could be just eaten by acid.
He voluntarily lost.
At any point before the acid hit any of those people, they could have just said, I quit, and get lasered. If you know you're losing anyway, just immediate I quit.
I wonder if you could actually pull that off. That's not bad.
Please burn my brain out immediately. I don't want to be acided to death. That's my favorite episode of the series, just because everybody's character arcs closed in such a satisfying way.
Everybody, like the main characters.
All the main characters. You get Aritsu and Usagi. The 2 of them kind of hook up, and that was like a really well-done scene with the elephants in the pool.
Taking a little sauna break, a spa day.
Yeah, then the elephants kind of vanish, and it was weird. But that worked great. And then you get Aguni and One Leg Girl, and it was so set up for a satisfying ending at that one. That was one of the best set-up episodes I've ever seen. Everything just came together so beautifully, and I was so ready for the last 2 episodes at that point. Because half of them are going to die anyway. Everybody had, by that point, gone through the game and were veterans and had kind of been through an experience where it really changed their character in some way. It really helped you think about that. That was so good.
Of the main cast, what's her name? Amy? The forensic investigator that was in the short shorts and had like the thighs.
Oh, yeah. Super hot legs, by the way.
Well, yeah, she had her whole thing where she's like, I'm going to find the boundaries. And she's walking in the woods. That didn't ever conclude or come to anything. They just kind of abandoned that quest. And then she showed up at a game.
Or we're waiting on season 3.
Oh, I mean, maybe. I thought they kind of just dropped her quest.
They did kind of.
Plus, all the people, pretty much, when they went up against King of Spades, they all got killed. But none of them actually died because it came down to the decision point where do you want to wish to exist in this land or not? And what does it mean if you say yes or no? We don't know. No one knows. And some of them said yes. Some of them said no.
The only ones who said yes were Psycho Killer and Con Man. And those 2 are still broing around after all this time, which is great.
King of Spades, that was the big commando, kill everybody, douchebag. Yeah.
He was machine gun guy.
Killed everybody, but they weren't dead because everybody was...
Their whole plan was awful. I mean, at one point, Aguni had a rifle that could easily penetrate Kevlar.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, provide a distraction and I'll just shoot him.
I'll lure him this way. No. You set up in an ambush. You send all your little minions out there to like run into the alleyway so he follows you, and then you shoot him when he enters.
Yeah, they gave dude way too much power, and the plan that the heroes came up with to solve the situation didn't work. And then, it's Japan, so not everybody, it's not America where everybody has like a lever action rifle and a gun in their bedroom drawer, so it's not quite like that. So it was so complimentary about the trigger control on the MAC-10 in season 1, episode 2. And then you get to the episode where it's scarred up burn mofo who should have been killed a long time ago, yet still is alive. And Chiyoyashi and Arisu, and they're all like in a triangle and squared off. And first of all, at least twice he pointed that over and under skeet shotgun at somebody, and it made a noise, which there's no pump.
Oh, I
there's
missed
no
that.
pump.
I missed that. Okay.
That happened.
Stop shooting! She's got nothing to do with that!
Legless bow and arrow girl, I liked her. She was...
Oh, yeah. Oh, she was great. She was the right kind of crazy.
Right kind of crazy. And interesting character, and they took time to show a little bit of backstory. And then King of Spades took her out. He like literally emptied a magazine into her chest, and yet somehow she's still crawling around in order to be the whole, Aguni, I'm crawling towards you. No, you're dead. He literally emptied like a magazine into you. You're dead.
Which makes sense if none of this is real.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to think about that.
Mind blown. Another thing I would really like to note about this show, after having seen a lot of foreign films and stuff, the dubbing in this show is just so on point and so perfect and so tight that you forget that they're dubbing.
I know exactly what you're saying because, yes, I've noticed that myself where it becomes apparent in a scene, and I've been watching it for the last 3 hours, and I'm like, oh, wait, is this not in English? So it's so weirdly seamless and unnoticeable.
It is the best dubbing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I don't know how they pull that off.
If you look for it, you can tell they're dubbing, but you don't look for it. Everybody's character voice is perfect for the character, and it worked so well. I think maybe they were moving some things around on, cell by cell.
I mean, we've seen what happens when you try to mess with things involving face and lips because, ask Henry Cavill how well that shit works out.
True, but they were doing something different.
I thought the ending of it, I mean, basically the whole season came down to the Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts, yes.
She was hot girl from the beach who was doing the whole midriff deal.
Hot weird girl.
Yeah.
She never blinked. She was that weird kind of intense, creepy stare.
She was able to play the right amount of creepy while still being hot Asian girl.
Yeah.
So good for her. And she's like, oh, we'll just play croquet. And you don't even have to win. We'll just play. And everybody's like, oh, she's got something. Something's happening. And then the whole episode does what most really good sci-fi or really good fantasy shows do. And it whiffed the ending. Not ultimately it whiffed the ending, but just as a plot mechanic, it seemed to be whiffing the ending where they're like, oh, it was all just a dream. It's lost. It was the last moments of a survivor's dying. And they did a few different whiffs in order to get you
on
board.
They faked you out 3 or 4 times before they told you what was actually happening.
Yeah, and by that point you're just numb. You're like, oh God, no, I don't believe anything. Nothing's real, nothing. And that was her game. That was the actual game. Her game was croquet, but then I'm also going to whiff all these endings and completely mentally and emotionally ring you out.
Make you think you're in a mental institution and all that.
It's here's a well thought out, complete, satisfying ending. No, fuck you. That's not it.
That was a lot of dick teasing going on, man.
Yeah, that was awesome. Because when they got up to the rooftop and they're doing the croquet, I'm like, oh, really? Oh, hey, it's hot Asian girl. There she. I wish she had more cleavage showing. I don't know. I had thoughts, but it didn't seem all that exciting. And then she's like, I'm going to give you the real answer. And I thought that was well done. I thought it was really, really, how do you end an awesome show? It's hard to do.
The best part is you don't know if it's ended.
I know. Because all the cards blow away. All the deck of 52 just, and what's left is the Joker. And you're like, oh, wait, where is the Joker? What the fuck? Oh, God.
Wait a second. They just whiffed 4 fake endings at us. Why aren't they whiffing 5 fake endings at us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Predictions. I think there will be a season 3.
Oh, absolutely. I think in fact, let me look that up on the Google now.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to check the manga and see if it progresses beyond, because that will be pretty darn definitive proof that they will be, there is more story to tell.
Let's see. Will the series be renewed? Let's see. It's still in talks.
All right, cool.